Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome back to my final video for week 4 on DraftKings, my 5 players under 5% owned. Now, there is a couple of stipulations that I have to put out. One, some of these players that I am mentioning when I record this video on Friday morning at like 11:30 a.m. Pacific time may not be under 5% by the time the games kick off on Sunday. My rules for picking players for this video is that all the different sites that I am partnered with on this channel, rotogrinders, Daily Roto, Fantasy Labs, Establish the Run, at least 2 of those sites have to have all the players in this video. For a player to be mentioned on this video, they have to project for under 5% on at least 2 of those sites. So every player in this video is projected on a couple of different sites at under 5%. If they end up at like 8% or 9%, like Mike Williams did a couple of weeks ago when he smashed, you're still on the right side of the math because most of the field is not getting on that guy. So the point is, it's an exercise to get us good players that are not being looked at, that are a little bit passed over for whether it's their price, their matchup, or whether there's just other shinier objects in every single optimizer that you might use that's going to leave these players under rostered on a Sunday, giving you the chance to leverage the field and get all the way up the board. So thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video. We need over 1,000 likes on this one all day Saturday and before kickoff on Sunday. So do what you can. Costs you absolutely nothing. Click that thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. I come out with new videos 7 days a week during NFL season. Ring the notifications bell so you get a little drop in your little notifications on top of the YouTube screen whenever I come out with something new. And leave me a reply down below with a player that I didn't mention on this video that you think belongs, because I think there's a lot of players that are under 5% this week on projections who look pretty good, but I'm sticking to only 5 of them for you guys. So let's hit it.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for week 4 has about 1,500 spots left at the time that we're recording this. By the time this video comes out on Saturday morning, that number is probably going to be a lot shorter than it is now. So make sure that you reserve your entry. 3 max, $10. Absolutely no rake. You got to get in there if you want to win it. And on the recap video on my second channel, Al Smizzle Games on YouTube, go drop a sub over there if you haven't already. That's where we do the recap video, and I'll go through all of the top 10 lineups and give them their shouts out and their propers for doing so well in such a tough community tournament. So thank you guys very much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. And let's get to who we got. The first one was the cover boy, Ezekiel Elliott, projecting under 5% on multiple sites this week. I don't see the reason. I mean, I understand. We talked about this before, that like a lot of people want to believe that Zeke is not carrying the ball as much. Zeke is not getting the love that he got in previous years. And the reality is that Ezekiel Elliott is, good. I think Pollard's better, personally, on talent. He's proven that he's better in terms of yards after contact, big playability, reception ability, yards after each reception, all those sorts of metrics. He ranks better the last 3 years in terms of like top 3 in the league on those metrics versus like Ezekiel, who's like 25 to 40th out of like the 46th in all those different metrics. So that is what it is, but the coaching staff wants to give him the ball. So I'm going to take all those people that think that Pollard's taking over the job. Clearly he's not. Ezekiel Elliott, $5 running back this week. And if you're telling me that I'm going to get a $5 running back at under 5%, hell, if he's 8%, I don't care. That's too cheap for everything that we have here. They want to feed him the ball. He's going to be one of the league leaders, probably top 5, if not top 3 in terms of inside the 5 carries by the end of the season. And he's only 6,500. Like, the price is not absurd. I think that there's a log jam of running backs that are under 6,500 this week, and they're all going to hold each other's percentages down. And everybody's going to want to jump on Kamara and jump on Derrick Henry, especially with the wide receivers out for Tennessee. So he might get like 35 touches again this week. So it's creating this vacuum, this void for Ezekiel Elliott lineups to run right into. And yeah, Carolina's been very good defensively so far this season, but they have not faced an offense like the Cowboys. They have not faced a quarterback like Dak Prescott that can move the ball as well and as efficiently as they can, leaving Ezekiel Elliott with an opportunity for a 20-plus point game at under 5% at only 6,500. My next play on the slate, Brandon Aiyuk. Out of the doghouse and into your hearts. $5,000 for this extremely talented receiver who had a third round ADP all the way through draft season and underperformed for the first 2 weeks, but got off the schneid against Green Bay with 6 targets, catching 4 of them for a touchdown. There is a lot of banged up players on this offense right now, with Elijah Mitchell probably missing this week, with the possibility that George Kittle misses this week. If George Kittle is in, then Aiyuk's percentage will stay low and sub 5. If Aiyuk is out, if Kittle is out, very possible that Aiyuk jumps over 5%. But right now, he's still in. So as long as he's still in, we're going with the fact that Brandon Aiyuk's going to be under 5% in a game against Seattle, who is one of the worst teams in the league in terms of defense and stopping other teams' players. Like the worst team in the league in terms of stopping running backs. San Francisco is at home. I think people do want to play the running backs for Seattle or for San Francisco, but if you watch top stacks, you know that I like this San Francisco stack. Big touchdown ability. All of those San Francisco wide receivers, whether it's Aiyuk, whether it's Kittle, whoever's on that team, does a really good job of breaking tackles. Big playability here. He can do it for you in one play. He can get you a touchdown, a catch, and 65 yards is like a 13.5 point play. If he gets you that 100-yard bonus, a whole lot more, and sub 5%. Absolutely love Aiyuk this week at an undervalued play, I think. I just think people are looking elsewhere. Devonta Smith at 5,700, leading the Eagles in both targets and air yards. 25% of the targets headed the rookie's way up against Kansas City, who has not been good defensively so far this season. They're like 10th in the league in terms of wide receiver scoring. They're second in the league in terms of quarterback scoring allowed in terms of DraftKings points. So a very good bounce back spot at home for this Philadelphia offense with Jalen Hurts, who always seems to look Devonta Smith's way. And when you factor in how much he's completing passes to everybody else, like 70+% completion rate when he targets everybody else other than Devonta Smith so far, and Devonta's just over 50%. I think that there is room for a little bit more efficiency for that to rise on Hurts to Devonta Smith throws. Projects for under 5% played here, makes for a great bring back play with whether you're playing CEH or Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. Whether it's a secondary stack or a primary stack, Devonta Smith makes for a great tournament play this week and to lower the percentage total of your lineups. Now, here's one that I did not think was going to end up on this list as under 5%, but 3 of the sites that I looked at have Manny Sanders sub 5% against Houston. The highest team total on the week is the Buffalo Bills. I do not fade passing games when they're massively favored and have a really high total. So if they were like 17-point favorites or 15-point favorites, the Bills, and the total in that game was like 44 or 42, that would be a different story than when the total's 52 and they have an expected implied team total of 32 points. I understand the narrative arguments against. One argument of, well, they're going to run the ball. Well, sure, if they get up like 30 at halftime, they're going to run the ball. Well, they're going to sit all their starters in the second half. That doesn't really happen at the NFL level. And if it does, they've already hung a 50 burger on Houston. So if they've scored 50 points, that means they've scored 6 or 7 touchdowns at that point. Somebody had to have scored them. So like, why not Manny Sanders at sub 5% and sub 5K at the exact same time? He's been the deep threat thus far for this Bills offense. Obviously, they have Beasley underneath. Obviously, they have Steph Diggs, who's one of the best in the league and an American hero at that. So I do think that there's a great possibility that Beasley is going to be the Bills player that is most likely to go off based on his yards per route run versus zone and the propensity for the Houston Texans in 2021 to play like 70% zone defense, not zone offense. That's a basketball thing back from my coaching days. But like, it puts him in a spot where I thought Beasley was going to be the sub 5% guy, but he's projecting at like 9-10% on multiple sites, and none of them he's projecting for under 5. So maybe the crowd's caught up. Like, I think Beasley's the better play, but for tournaments, Manny Sanders at this price gives me a distant floor and ceiling, right? Like 6.8, 9.2 in the first 2 weeks, but 26 there in week 3. If he's going to be sub 5%, there's a good chance that he's going to score over 15 points in this game, at least way higher percent chance than the crowd that's going to play him. He's probably got like a 12 to 15% chance of being greater than 15 fantasy points on DraftKings. But like if 4% of the field's going to play him, then we're on the right side of the math in terms of helping us win a tournament. Final player on the list is going to be a tight end, and it's Dalton Schultz, who is still running about a little over half the routes and a little over half the snaps. 6+ targets in both games, projects for like 2% played. And again, a game with a 50 total, or if we're stacking, double stacking, or bringing it back, there's more popular plays on the Cowboys. People are going to play Amari Cooper, and they're going to play CeeDee Lamb way more than they're going to play Dalton Schultz if they're stacking with Dak Prescott. Their bring back plays if they're going to be stacking Sam Darnold with DJ Moore or Robbie Anderson or anybody on that side of the ball. Schultz is the guy on the other side who is the least popular bring back play, even lower projected than Ezekiel Elliott, to give you a little bit of leverage if those passing touchdowns do go towards Dalton Schultz. He can't really hurt you with the amount of volume that he's getting. If he scores 5 points, we're looking for like 12 plus points from Dalton Schultz is what we really, really want for him to help us win a tournament. But at 3,400, it's very hard for him to hurt you. If he has 8 fantasy points or 7 fantasy points, it does not kill those lineups because of the dust bowl that is tight ends on DraftKings. So what it does is it puts you in a unique spot where if he goes off, you're all alone. It leverages all the plays that are separate from him, Ezekiel Elliott, Cooper, and Lamb, who will be the higher played plays in those Dak stacks or bringbacks for Dalton stacks. And it allows you to spend a lot more money. You're saving $3,500 on the other guys, $3,000 to $3,500 over both of those or all 3 of those other Cowboys plays, with a similar 20-point upside in terms of a ceiling, which we saw from him against Philadelphia when he caught 6 of 7 for 2 touchdowns. He's actually done a great job for a guy who was considered to be a blocking only tight end. I think that his percentage projection this week is too low versus the implied team total and the scoring environment that he is in. So while I prefer the premium guys like Kelsey or Kittle if he's healthy, or Logan Thomas, of course I do. But we're looking to leverage the field here with this. We're looking to try and take advantage of low played players at every different position. And hopefully this video helped you. If it did, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch up to you guys tomorrow.
He's a legend.